nice little DVD here, which is the DVD companion to Films of Fury. Mr. Meyers, how are you today?
I'm great, how are you?
I'm doing good. Now, today's show, I see you basically sharing real estate with Mr. Jim Kelly for Enter the Dragon.
Jim Kelly and
Time Knock for the Last Dragon.
Right.
How awesome is that to be sitting that close to them?
Well, I've done it before. Yeah, so I'm used to it now.
Are you big fans of Jim Kelly and Time Knock's work?
Yeah. I mean, no. Actually, no. I'll be honest. I mean, Jim has done some great stuff. Time Knock did one movie that could have been a lot better. But as people, they're fine.
They're good people. Real quick, tell us about what Films of Fury is. I see it's obviously a book about fighting movies, but...
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's about Kung Fu.
Kung Fu movies. All right, so it's very specific genre here we're discussing.
I'm sorry?
Very specific genre we're discussing here.
Well, not really. It's what happens is that most people think Kung Fu is fighting. Kung Fu is a self-improvement system, where the ability to defend yourself comes as an afterthought. And fighting is not what Kung Fu is about. Kung Fu means, as both the book and the movie says, human achievement. People want to be fighting all the time in America, and that's odd. So Kung Fu people have a long beard, so it's very odd.
Pai Mei over here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Pai Mei was a villain, remember?
Yes, he was.
Just because I'm not a villain. Well, maybe I am a little bit. See, I'm a terrible villain. Come here. Anyway. So but be that as it may. What has happened was that originally back in the 80s, I wrote a first book on martial art films. But basically I felt I was more like a Chinese man who had seen a baseball game and, hey, that's really great. And then sees a lot of baseball movies and writes a book and makes a movie about baseball movies without knowing the rules of baseball. And over the years, of the last 30 years while I've been studying, now I started practicing Kung Fu and learning and teaching Kung Fu. And I realized that I had written the baseball book without knowing the rules of baseball. So I decided when the time came when I was approached by this company called Lux Digital Pictures and asked if I would do a movie on the subject, I said, well, I don't want to do it on martial arts anymore, I just want to do it on Kung Fu. And now that I know, I think more the rules of Kung Fu, I want to do a new book where suddenly all these movies went from like being flat to three-dimensional, because suddenly I knew what they were about. Not just people swinging their arms, swinging their legs,
not just sticky hands,
making noise, yeah, or anything else. It was about Kung Fu. So I created a book and a movie about Kung Fu films, Kung Fu through Kung Fu films, Kung Fu films through Kung Fu.
And what style of Kung Fu do you practice right now?
Well, we've discovered that all Kung Fu is the same. Human body, human mind, the world around you. It's all Kung Fu. Kung Fu, as we've defined here, some people define the word Kung Fu as hard work or concerted effort. We define it as human achievement. So one style is all styles. People say, what do you use more in Kung Fu? Is it more internal healing or is it more external martial applications? I go, what do you use more, your brain or your body? So basically, my style is Ric Fu.
Ric Fu. I'd like to be your disciple if you don't mind.
No, you have to, what's your name?
Matthew.
You have to do Matthew Fu.
Matthew Fu.
Or Matt Fu.
Fight Nerd Fu, I have to be exact.
In other words, temperament, size. The great masters always say, learn human nature, learn your own nature, learn Mother Nature, then you will know it.
I wanted to ask you what your favorite movie is. That's probably the hardest question in the world.
Well, not really. In the back of the book, I have the top 100 Kung Fu films of all time. So basically, you'll have to narrow down.
What would you recommend then for someone that is basically the top 3 movies that they should watch? They have to watch to be a part of
Hero.
Kung
Fu Panda. Shaolin Soccer.
Shaolin Soccer.
And then if you go underneath that, then it's Once Upon a Time in China 2 and 36 Chamber of Shaolin.
Why number 2? Why the sequel? I know there's 3.
It's better.
It's Godfather 2.
Exactly. Even though, yeah, that's actually a very good comparison. Because
I got one right today.
There we go. Yeah.
Fight Nerd Fu.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, very good Kung Fu. Good Kung Fu.
Strong Kung Fu. Yeah. Crab style. Strong style. Kentucky Toad style.
If you say so.
We'll see about that.
Best for you, Matt Fu.
Coming up with the title. Right? Make sure you pull the book real nice.
There we go. It's Ric Meyers. Ric Meyers dash Fu. No, it's RicMeyers.com. No K on Rick. Leave the K off for Karma. And you can get the book. You can get the DVD. You get my new books. I also have another book on exploitation films and more stuff coming up this year.
Let's talk a little bit real quick about Bruce Lee. He's basically one of the most popular, if not the
He is the most popular.
It's easy to say that pretty much.
It's true.
What is your favorite Bruce Lee movie, or what's the one you think is most important to
Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon. So what made that so important?
Well, it was the first great American one. It was the first modern-day Kung Fu movie ever made, and it brought it to the world in a way that it understood. And then, of course, they completely dropped the ball after he died and made him into a farce, into a joke.
Bruceploitation era films.
Yeah, exactly. Which, you know, a lot of people say, but I like those. I say I like those too, but they never should have existed. Bruce would not have been happy.
Well, speaking of Bruce himself, I mean, next year is the 40th anniversary of Enter the Dragon as well as the 40th anniversary of his passing.
Right.
How is it this man has been able to continue touching generations for over 40 years, and probably another 40 years after? How is he able to do this still?
Because he was not only a great martial artist, he was a great filmmaker. And a lot of people discount that. A lot of people have come after him. And even though Jackie Chan has achieved more in terms of number of films, development of his style, his altruism and his charity, Bruce will always be the king because he died early. He wasn't able to mature. He wasn't able to develop. But what he left us was an understanding that Chinese are not the weaklings of Asia or the world. And he created a genre. He also, well, some people don't know this, although it's also a whole chapter on him in the book and the movie.
Let's hold it up again.
Yeah, there we go. That he also introduced Kung Fu to the West. It was his form of Kung Fu, which was not the most advanced. It had a lot to do with the West. But because it bridged the Western and Eastern styles, it was much more understandable to Americans who are all about the gun. In America, we've never been without the gun. So to us, it's a waste of time to work on a self-improvement system when all they need is the gun. But as I tell my students, Kung Fu is water. Martial arts is ice. Ice is powerful, but it's also brittle. It can be broken. Water cannot.
Ric Fu right there. Ric Fu in action.
I teach mental martial arts. And the first rule, because he was the one person Bruce Lee never defeated.
Probably James Coburn in his house.
No, himself. He never defeated himself. So I teach mental martial arts to have you get over that. And the first rule of mental martial arts, this is Ric Fu. There's a lot of people in the world might want to hurt you or hold you back. Don't be one of them.
Very astute. I think on that note, we're going to end this right here. Guys, check it out. Films of Fury, DVD and the book. I'm going to buy this right now. Mr. Meyers, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Nice shirt.
Thank you very much.